Hey. Stop. Dog doing crazy things. Hey, Alex, what's happening? Jonathan checked in. How are you doing, Jonathan? Heath, what's up? Prompt as usual. Just going over some notes and chilling. We'll hang out here for a few and let everybody check in, and we'll get rolling. How you feeling, Heath? What's up, Mr. Cordes? How are you? Oh, that's right, Alex. You're still in Tulsa. What's happening, Scott Hutchins? How are you, bud? All right, Heath. Glad you're feeling better. Hope your daughter's doing better as well. I guess you, what did you mention? She had a strep. So, man, that's some nasty business. You guys get well up there. Billy Goats, for sure, Steven. There you go. Right over here. Darren Hall, what's up? We'll hang tight for a couple, 3 minutes, and then we'll get to shooting. Excellent, Heath. Glad to hear that. Glad everybody's getting well. Heath was among one of the many finishers and hung out with us at our cabin at Ouachita this weekend. We'll talk more about that later. He managed to finish with, I don't know what was going on, but the guy was sick. It sounded like he was hacking up a lung, and didn't stop him. He just rolled through and made it anyway. Chad Van Hosen, how are you doing? Checking in from Ponca. I hear you guys are a little bit damp there for a couple days. You know, Alan, I need to. I'm the dark stout type beer is growing on me. So you're right. I need to make the Guinness happen. I will. You need to hook me up, or if you come ride mountain bikes with us every now and then, and bring your beer, then we have some. Hey, Chad, I just saw you checked in from Ponca. I saw a post from Roy, said you guys are a little bit wet and probably a couple days out. So you might chime in here in a bit and give us your update. I haven't looked at the forecast for you guys for the next couple of days into the weekend, but you might give a little shout out here about what your trail's looking like, because I know several people are looking at pre-ride Medicine Park and Keystone and you guys all at the same time. So be sure and chime in, and we'll get that on the air. Quincy, man, I planned it out, actually. I have all this before I go live. I want to make sure I get all my stuff going. So I'm not drinking Coop. I don't have any, but I drank all that last week, unfortunately. So I am drinking my empty PBR here out of my Coop glass, since Coop always sponsors Medicine Park. So that's my theme, is Medicine Park. Hence we got the Billy Goats up here, and then we've got the I forget my left or right on the camera, just the Fool's Guide. So in 2016, a couple years ago, they had guide shirts for all the guides that were doing all the guided tours and stuff at Medicine Park. So there's my Medicine Park shout outs. Tegan, you bet. Thank you. Yeah, a little OEF shout out, and Tegan Malone just checked in, and we'll talk about her and some OEF and bike club things going on here in a little bit. Oh man, yeah, Austin or Alan, sorry. Alan says Austin Rattler this weekend, Leadville qualifier. Yeah, I've always wanted to go down and do the Austin Rattler. I just have never pulled it off, but I have no desire to go do the Leadville race. I know a lot of people do, but not my thing. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Let's see. That's a big old fat ignore. So yeah, so I've got my coupe here. I've got, you know, I'm keeping in line with, I'm still waiting for a shirt. I wear a size medium men's, just saying, Team Wine Box. And this is just for good measure because I love Jaeger. So I've got to have a variety. Chad Van Hosen just chimed in like I'd asked him to. He said rain really hasn't been too bad. Trail will be damp a day or so after, but it's definitely ready to pre-ride. Trail's in awesome shape. We've been marking some stuff for the Boulder Bash. So Chad says, so assuming the rain holds off, nothing crazy happens between now and this weekend, looking like Sunday's going to suck. You know, there's a possible pre-ride for Saturday at Ponca, as well as Medicine Park and as well as Keystone. I'm not sure where I'm headed this weekend yet. I mean, the weather's kind of a factor right now, so I'm undecided, but I've already gotten Keystone under my belt. I've ridden Medicine Park enough that I'm pretty stoked. We'll talk about their course in a minute. I think you guys are going to like it. And wouldn't mind getting down to touch a Ponca again. So, yeah. So Chad said that he's planning on being out there at 8 o'clock Saturday morning to ride if anybody wants to do it. Jason and Gelke, there's always the road. What were you doing, intervals at night? You were riding with Kai and I on Zwift for a little bit, and then Kai attacked, and I went with him, and then, man, you disappeared. You did some like hard interval and just went away, so. Alex Canada, Keystone rocks. Yeah, it does. It's cool. Okay, let's get this thing underway. We got a lot of people checked in, and I've been dragging my feet here for, I don't know, 7 minutes. So let's get rolling. We got Medicine Park stuff rolling on. We got Medicine Park T-shirts up behind me, leading into, it's going to be my last topic, actually. So we're going to hold off on talking about that because I want to finish with that. Sorry, shorts are riding up here. Got to get up on the edge of the couch here. I'm trying to get centered so I'm not blocking either of the shirts. There we go. So I've got got my little baby Medicine Park award that I got last year finally. So, and then got a little Ouachita challenge business from this weekend. So let's see what we're gonna do. So first, I guess I always forget. I'm gonna introduce myself because I guess there are some people that may check in and may not know who I am. I'm Corey White. This is the Weekly Wizard Update. I'm going to keep doing this thing. People seem to be interested and having a good time listening to me. I do want to make a sort of apology, kind of, sort of. We got a little rowdy last weekend at the Twisted Spike. I pre-rode Keystone, blazed back to Oklahoma City to get Des. Des was on the training ride. She got back, took a shower. I grabbed a snack. We blazed up to Twisted Spike, spent about 30 minutes getting set up. I had no food and immediately started drinking beer. So I was about 3 beers in with no food. And so things got a little rowdy. And I think I dropped the F-bomb a few times. So try to keep the F-bomb to a minimum. But, sometimes I get worked up and things happen. Kevin Snyder, hey, how's it going? Alan? Alan, no, I didn't get rowdy. Yeah, we all got rowdy. And watching the video of our after the fact at Twisted Spikes, I can't hear everything that's going on when I'm talking. So I watched the video the next day, and it was so funny listening to all the people laughing and giggling in the background. So I'm going to do more of that, I think, if I can. I'm going to try to get more groups and do some interviews. That was kind of fun. Anyway, so let's keep on rolling. So my shirt, brand new shirt. Got it in the mail yesterday, got it in the wash, we're clean. Holeshot Coffee. So many of you may know, some of you may not, but you know, obviously I ride for Charlie's Bike Lab. I'm sorry, I'm still saying that. I ride for Oklahoma City OKC Bike Lab. We have been in the process of making a big change over the past, I don't know, several months, but it's really just come to fruition, and it's actually physically happening as we speak. And that is, we're moving shops. We're not adding a new location, we're actually changing locations. And so they made, we were able to get up a little bit on, I think, Thursday and help break down some things, but then, you know, we were doing the Ouachita, so we couldn't help this weekend, but everybody went up there, and I think they made all the big stuff and all the big moves that they can to the new location. And they are ready for a soft launch hoping on Thursday, but tomorrow is the key point, the critical point, and they have a lot of inspections tomorrow morning. And those, depending on how those inspections go, depends on how things play out. But if you have something or you need something, just call the number, call the shop. They'll find a way to make it happen or hook you up, figure something out. But they're kind of in limbo for a couple of days. The new location is going to be at 2200 West Hefner Road. It's in the Village. It's right next door to Audio Dimensions. A lot of you have probably seen that. We are simultaneously in the same building. We have our own building. So it's not like in a mall and there's all different shops, but it is our own facility. And we are also launching Holeshot Coffee, which is just going to be a coffee and you know, sandwich type shop in the same location. I don't know the exact details on what all is going to be at Wholeshot, but obviously they're going to have all kinds of coffee, and we're hoping to bring in, you know, not just cyclists, but you know, just people that want to come in and have a cup of coffee, and you know, who knows, while they're drinking a cup of coffee, maybe they want to take a peek at some bikes and get on a bike. So anyway, so look forward to that. Surely by I think for sure by April 2nd, 3rd, we're going to be fully operational in the new facility. But anyway, give us a holler, and look forward to that. Come visit the shop. It's going to be a phenomenal design. They've done a lot of work on designing it so that it's customer friendly, hangout friendly. We're going to be, you know, there's going to be beer on tap, coffee shop, bars sitting in front of the work stand, so you can sit there and have a bar, so you can have, you know, you can hang out and talk to the guys while they're wrenching on your bike. So thumbs up, looking forward to it, and you guys come visit. Okay. Jimmy Young, be nice. 3 whole Oklahoma beers and empty stomach. No, we were drinking Twisted Spike Special Brew. I don't know what it was, but it was tasty. It was, I had one of their stouts. I can't remember. Nolan can probably chime in here in a minute and tell me what it was. And then I had some bourbon stout, or bourbon aged. Man, it was delicious and strong. Helen says 9%. Take that, Jimmy Young. What's up with my kiddos? Okay, so let's see what's next. My notes are pretty sporadic today. I was running late, had to train and ride, and then I cooked dinner, and my notes are a mess. All right, let's jump into it. Ouachita Challenge. We got some Tour de Dirt stuff later, but you know, like I tell everybody every time, Tour de Dirt's my thing, but it's not my only thing. We do all kinds of stuff. We support all kinds of races, all kinds of states, and we love it. So that's how we keep it interesting and keep the stoke high, keep the fitness good, keep the body strong, and we do that by variety. Ouachita Challenge has been a staple for me for, I don't know, 10 years, 10, 11 years, something like that. I've been doing it for quite a while, probably longer than that. I took a couple-year hiatus. I didn't really like the direction that they were going, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't like some of the new rules they had, and anyway, they've since changed that and gone back to their grassroots and gone back to the way they've done things. And when they did that, I went straight back to it. And it's a great event. And it's probably one of the hardest events that, I don't know, honestly, I think that I do all year long, physically, that wise. Physically, it's very physically demanding. And, especially for a single speed, it's extremely hard because of the nature of the trail. It's a beautiful trail. This year, the conditions were unbelievable. Conditions play a huge factor in this course, and it's pretty much a run, rain or shine. I don't know that they've ever canceled it because of the course. I mean, it gets wet, but it doesn't get messed up. It doesn't get destroyed. It's just the nature of the terrain that they have and the location of the trail and rocks and the type of sand. So it doesn't really get destroyed. This year, the conditions were great. It was 70, 75 on Saturday for the non-race, which is the ride, which really turns into a race with just minus a top of Blowout Mountain and a few hundred feet of climbing. But it's the same thing as on Sunday. Conditions are a little bit different on Sunday. Conditions were a little bit cooler, threat of rain, and I think it actually did sprinkle on us a little bit, but it was insignificant. It turned out great. Again, beautiful conditions, and some of the race times alluded to that condition. And I think 3 of the top finishers overall broke the course record. So, yeah. So I mean, that's crazy fast. I PR'd. I think my fastest time has been around 5:30, 5:35, and that was back when I rode gears. And I've been stuck around the 5:40 range for a couple of years, give or take. And I did 5:23 this year and still got 5th place. Still got beat by my boys, my other single speeders, Chris Rogers and Chad Sprague, and some random dude from like Memphis, Tennessee did like a 4:47. So that's crazy fast. So that's like 2 races in one. So we're not even really racing that guy. But anyway, it was good stuff. It was a good race. Saw a lot of people I knew. I ran into people from let's see, I've got notes here somewhere. So I got to make sure I keep on track. Yeah, saw people from Arkansas, saw people from Kansas. The Simons from Kansas came down. I'm sure there's some other people from Kansas. I just know those guys because they do True to Dirt stuff. Man, we had our huge Fat Tire crew, and I'm talking to Fat Tire Oklahoma crew. Probably, I'm sure there's Fat Tire Arkansas guys. I don't know all of them yet though. Burn Camp had some reps. Sound Pony. Wow, who else? Yeah, Team Phoenix had a huge crew. I mean, they always do. This is kind of a big event for Phoenix. They always bring a huge crew on Saturday, and then usually a pretty good sized crew on Sunday. So a lot of good stuff. Meeting a lot of people. Let's see who else I need to throw a shout out to. So many of you, so let me explain the course a little bit at Ouachita, and then I'll talk a little bit about some couple friends of mine that I've known for a few years. Originally from Texas, one now lives in Arkansas. So give Mike Frazier props, as well as Brian Brynforder. Both originally from Texas. Mike's still there, bike messenger in Texas, and Brian Brynforder now lives in Bentonville, which is a hotbed, Northwest Arkansas, but he also works for Progressive Design now, building trails. So he's the man now for doing all that stuff. Anyway, I've known these guys for doing single speed and doing endurance races in Texas for years, and every year they come up and just have a good time. They usually set up somewhere, and they do have a little fun little place where they stage up and do beer hand ups, bacon hand ups, stuff like that, and So I ran into those guys Saturday. They were doing sweep for a section of the course, and we hung out with them at Sims, which is the middle of the course. So basically you have, it's kind of like 3 sections. You have the lead-in start, which is a long gravel section, which again for single speeders sucks. And then you finally hit the single track and you ride the Ouachita section, which is, I don't know, like 20 miles. And by the time you finish and get the road and get all that done, you're about 25 miles in. But that Ouachita section is hard. I mean, there's climbing, there's rocks. I mean, it's gnarly. I mean, I was off my bike 4 or 5 times just because I couldn't push it 3219, couldn't climb it. And downhills that just beat the crap out of you. And then you dump out on the road and you have like 5-6 miles of road all the way into the next checkpoint. So I'll give props to another buddy of mine. I normally get hung out in the wind at single speed because all those flats suck. And I always get hung out by myself. This year, however, I happen to be around a good buddy of mine that I met riding single speed last year in Arkansas, and he also works at bike shop in Arkansas. And Jeremy Ordaz, and we just came out at the right time, same place, and he had gears this time, and man, I sucked his wheel for like 6 miles, and I think one time he even had to give me a push to get me back in the group, and I stayed in the group, and I bet I spun 120 cadence for, man, I don't know how long. It seemed like for days, but it was probably only about 20 minutes. But nonetheless, props to Jeremy. Oh, you big time. So back to my boys from Arkansas. So the last couple of years they have done. So once you reach the middle point, which is the parking lot aid station, which is the midpoint, you do a little single track section, you cross the road, and then you have another little single track section before you jump across another highway, and you're literally at just a smidgen over the halfway point at this time at the Ouachita Challenge. And there's a little creek there right before you come out on the highway, and this is now called Bacon Creek. So these guys just started the 2 of them, and now they've recruited all kinds of buddies, and I think Heidi and a couple of her friends, and then I don't know, there were several people down there. There were like 7 or 8 people down there, and they call it Bacon Creek. They've got music, they've got chairs, they've got, this year they had fireball and whiskey hand-ups, they had beer hand-ups, they had bacon on a fishing pole. I managed the trifecta. I hit it just right. I was in the lead of my group, and there was nobody in front of me, so I was able to get a fireball shot, drop that. I was able to get a shot of Modelo, and I handed that back so I didn't spill it for the next person. I think Jeremy was right behind me, Ordaz, and he got a little bit of that. And then he probably got the second bacon hand up because they had 2 bacon stops. That way, if there were 2 people, first one could grab the first one. So I got the one from the fishing pole, and then Jeremy got the one from just the gal holding it up. So I managed fireball, beer, and a bacon hand up all at the same time. So not bad for mile like 30-ish. So fireball was sitting pretty hard though, for the next couple minutes, but it played out. It was okay. Speaking of that, Mike Fraser just checked in and says, "Hey man, what's up, Mike? You guys are awesome. It was so fun." Bob Davis says he double baconed. W. Scribner, definitely the trifecta, man. It was perfect. Gabe Edmonds says Jeremy's okay. He's okay for a single speeder. Gabe Edmonds is another one of our Arkansas single speeders, and he's an awesome dude. Cody Pollard, shut your mouth. He just says Blowout Mountain is the best part of OC. You're crazy, dude. The bottom part's not bad. Hell, the top part's just a big rocky ass walk for me. Brandon Nesmith, you can do it. You can ride Ouachita. John Denton checked in, says his phone's about to die. So epic distance, epic climbs with rocks. Don't forget the downhills. So Bob Davis chimed in. Bob Davis did his first one this year, so props to him. Rides for Bike Lab as well. And he says, epic distance, epic climbs with rocks. And Jason chimed in right after, says, don't forget the downhills too. And I have to agree with that. The climbing's brutal, but I mean, you can deal with that, and you can handle that if you know it's coming. But the downhills, I mean, I rarely ever wish that I had a full squish bike, but damn, some of those downhills just beat me up. I reached the bottom of them, and I'm to the point where it's like, I want to be a full downhiller because I don't want to grab the brake anymore. My hands hurt so bad. It's like I literally want to just let go of the brake and say, screw it. But obviously you can't do that. You're going to die. But it hurts. Make sure I haven't missed anything else here. Yeah, I think we're all good. We're all back down here. Jason says he had bacon burps. I know, man. It took me a while to get that bacon chewed and put down. It was good. Mike Fraser says, it was a pleasure. It's why we do it. Man, I tell you. So not only did they do this, but what else was there? Let's see. So there was a hammock hanging in the trees way above your head. So you cross the creek, and there's literally a hammock above your head. Brian is in a dress that is not made of bacon, but it's a dress that looks like a big piece of bacon. He looked like a caveman in a bacon suit. I don't know. It was great. Mike's in overalls, and of course we're in the Arkansas woods, so I mean, this is great. Anyway, so the rest of the Ouachita, yeah, it was just a good time. We everybody has their place to stay. We had an awesome cabin up actually near the halfway point, and overlooked the Ouachita River. We were up there Friday for a little pre-ride, and nice cool evening, and sat on the porch and enjoyed the outdoors. We did that Friday and as well as Saturday, and then of course we raced Sunday. And man, it's just a beautiful place. Awesome race. You guys got to go do it if you get a chance. So do want to go ahead and give props to my Bike Lab crew, just because I can. And so say Danny Murphy. All of our bike crew finished. I haven't had a chance to check the results. I heard they're posted. Danny finished. I don't think this is Danny's first, but if it's not, it may be his first. So I need to check with him. Bob Davis is first, and he completed it. Desiree finished, and she did a double up repeat of last weekend at Land Run, and she won the single speed this time as well. So props to her. Another good ride. Broke 6 again. I think for the second time in her career. Last time she did it was on gears, but this time she did it on single speed, which is awesome. I got 5th single speed, and I did 5:23. So super stoked about that. It's like 16, 17, 18, something. I have to do the math. I can't remember my exact time, but that's 15, 16 minutes faster than my best time. So I'll take that. Jeremy Black finished his first one, didn't have any idea what to expect. He just went off it. He hurt and suffered and finished well. His better half to be Jennifer Garland was there, and she didn't race. She's been doing a lot of running, but she totally hooked us up with SAG and supported the aid station. Had like 4 ice chests and bags and all kinds of crazy stuff, trying to dish out stuff to all of us riders. So she did a great job, and we appreciate her for being there. Jenny and Brent Wright were there, although they're conflicted sometimes. So Jenny's definitely riding for Bike Lab, and sometimes they wear white roofing. So we're all good with that. Brent's a cool dude too. So, and last but not least, Stephen Schmitty. This guy's been getting fast for us and doing a great job. And man, I ended up getting bridged to him, luckily, around Sims. And then we passed through the Bacon Creek about the same time with my friend Jeremy. And then it was just from that point on, it was Stephen and I. We rode the whole rest of the race together. That was it. I mean, I tacked on a downhill after Puke Hill to catch another single speeder, knowing that all the geared guys would bridge up to me and hoping that it was only Stephen that bridged up. and I got my single speeder to get my 5th spot. And man, next thing I know, I look back and I see a white helmet, and here comes Steven. And there's nobody else. So I jumped on his wheel. We rode together. And again, he pulled my ass all the way to the finish. Then he saw some geared guys, and I just told him to go, and he took off to chase down the geared guys, and I just rode in 30 seconds behind him. So super fun, super cool, and great to ride for, hell, 2.5 hours with my buddy. So it was an awesome ride, and he did great. All right, 30 minutes in. Let's see, what else can we talk about Ouachita? I think we're good, unless anybody has anything they want to pop in and say. Brandon Reed popped in and said that was Danny's second, Danny Murphy's second one. And Brandon Reed's there. Brandon's another one of the Phoenix crew. So and he did a good job. They all finished. I think Jared Good was out there. Cody Pollard was out there for Burn Camp. In fact, I think both those guys got have pictures on Facebook of them stopping and peeing. So hey, it's all fun. Photo script, Toby, Des is on fire. Way to go. I know, right? She's been killing it. That's why she's been buying dinner, because she's been making the big bucks. Steve Palmer, Bacon Creek, much love from in support from the ladies, Heidi and Amy. Oh, that's right, that was Amy Claire. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I've only met Amy a couple of times, but I think she's a friend of Heidi's, and I think she's been roped into the mountain bike scene from the road. So we've got another roadie. We've been moving over. What to eat? Eat the pickles. Forrest Smith. What's happening? Creeping the Oklahoma scene tonight. Forrest out in Wisconsin. That Trek Factory. Making bikes, doing things. All right. Enough of Ouachita. I'll pop back in with some stuff if you guys have some Ouachita stuff you want to talk about. It's an experience. It's something that, man, if you guys are looking for an experience, you're looking for something different, it's great. Because I mean, it's a full weekend. You know, a lot of people like us, we split it up. You know, so some people do the Saturday ride, some people do the Sunday race. You know, we always do the Sunday race, but then there's other people who do the Saturday. So we like to go and hang out at Sims, which is the halfway point, maybe, you know, down the road a little bit, the parking lot, which is another place, and you know, do a little sag, do a little sport, do some hand ups, just be out there for all of our fellow racers and cheer them on and yell at them, and you know, give away Oreo cookies and whiskey hand ups and whatever else they need, which we did this year. So it's all good. And then, you know, we get down to business on Sunday and do our race, and a lot of the Saturday riders are doing the same thing that we did on Saturday. They're out on course on Sunday yelling and cheering. It's a good event, and it's a beautiful part of the country. So I know a lot of you guys are used to Northwest Arkansas, but if you really want to get away from, you know, the population, the metro type places, busy crowds, man, riding out here in the Womble and the Ouachita is awesome. So go do it. And if you ever need, you're going out there solo or a small group, just give me a shout out personally. And I've got a crew out there that I know personally that I ride. That's another fellow single speeder, and they have a shuttle service that's just right out there, and they'll do all kinds of shuttle service for you for that area. So give me a holler, and I'll hook you up with them. David DeGarmo checked in from Claremore. Yeah, absolutely. OC, this is definitely fun, and look forward to seeing you there next year, buddy. Okay. Finish this guy up here. Done. Oh, hey. So check this out. I don't know if you guys have seen this. How cool is that? How many of you recognize that? That is a good old floppy disk. It's not really a floppy disk. It's actually just a piece of plastic that looks like one. One of my sons got it for me because he's an IT geek like me. It's a coaster. And cool. know, let's move on to this. Oh, need a little Jaeger. Need a little Jaeger for this next subject. All right, next on our schedule, hence the shirts, hence the cobblestone, Medicine Park, Fool's Dozen, 2018. And man, this is going to be a good ass weekend. I'm telling you right now, if you guys can get off early, get down there. They've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday events. Obviously, Sunday's our race day, but man, they've got fun stuff on Friday and fun stuff on Saturday. Got another tab over here I'm going to take a peek at so I can get this right. So, first of all, Friday, they've got their fun little night rides. So bring some lights. I mean, honestly, I did it last Friday with no lights, and I just made sure I stayed behind somebody that had a really good light, and it got a little sketchy going down some stairs, but outside of that, everything was pretty cool. But 7:45, they're just going to do a night ride. I mean, pretty much you just ride a few miles, and we ride to a couple places and have a beer. That's pretty much it. We ride to a nice chest and have some peepers, call it good. And then at 9 o'clock, Hosty, which is someone that's been down there several times, and it's a good, I don't know, where he's out of, but the guys have, several of the guys at Medicine Park know him and have a good relationship with him. He comes down and does a great show. It's going to be at the tavern at 9. So, I mean, that's a good time, and we'll probably be there for that. Then you move on into Saturday. Now, Saturday, this is a little different. They have several things going on, and I'm just going to tell you what, just kind of the general idea of what they are. Well, first of all, they're going to have a 9:30 group ride, cross-country group ride at 9:30 on Saturday. So if you want there, I don't know the specifics. That'll probably just vary based on who shows up for that. They'll have people guiding both courses, I would imagine, whether it be Cat 3 course or the Cat 1-2 course, of which I'll talk about both courses shortly. And that's going to be, good and fun, and everybody can go do that. But from 9 a.m. through 4 p.m., they're going to have a bunch of prize events. Several of them are Strava-based events, and you can get information for these at the base camp that morning, and they'll have maps and information on each one of those. They're going to have a Super D downhill, King of the Hill climb. They're going to have possibly some street drag races. They're just going to have a couple of, basically KOM Strava type things. And the whole idea is that you can go into base camp, get the information, and you can do it on your own at your leisure anytime between 9 a.m. and a little before 4 p.m. And then at 4 p.m. they'll pull it up, and they're, on the computer, and they will look and see who won. And they're going to have prizes for all the winners of these things. And they have really dialed into the Medicine Park downtown area, and all of the businesses have donated $10, $15, $20, $25, $30 gift certificates for the prizes here. So, I mean, it's very easy that, you go and do a couple of these. Heck, you could win you could win all the food and stuff and coffee and scones and stuff like that tacos that you may want for the whole weekend. You'll be good to go. So anyway, just some fun stuff, and done in a way that it's going to be really relaxed and casual and on your own, and should be fun. Once all that's done, they will have at 7 p.m. Dwight Cope, who's the man in Medicine Park, ex-mayor from back in the day and longtime resident, and everybody knows him. Believe he's recovering from a little surgery right now and should be good to go. But I think he's been the manager of the main stage, and he does all the big bands. And he's got a group coming in, Cade Roth and the Black Sheep. They're going to be on the main stage 7 p.m. Saturday night. So live band, good stuff, and that's the weekend. And then, of course, that leads into Sunday, which is, our racing business. So just generally 8:30 registration, 10 o'clock Kids Cup, 11 o'clock Cat 3, 12:30 Cat 1, 12:40 Cat 2. So it's good stuff. Did talk to Steve Cordes, and he said that between now and then, obviously, if you have some, if you've got a group coming down or you're coming down just individually, just post up on the Mountain Bike Club of the Wichita's Tour to Dirt page, and he'll see it. And if you're coming out, they'll make sure that you have someone out there and can guide you around if you need. The course is marked, but if you want a guide, just give them a shout, and I bet they can hook it up. They're real good about doing that. All righty, let's see what we've got here. Ooh, man. Jaeger's looking good. Thanks, David. Jason says it started cramping halfway and the pickles took them away. We had a long talk about that cramping thing, Jason and Gelke, and started with a buddy of mine talking about Hotshot, and Kevin Collins, our gravel guru, gravel buddy from Wichita, Kansas, and we've known, he used to be a mountain biker. I've known him for, I don't know, 10 years probably. He's used to do Hotshot, and a lot of it is not necessarily the nutrition in the jar or the drink, but it's the shock to your nervous system. So it hits your soft palate, and it shocks your nervous system, because that's really, your cramping is like a nervous system reaction. Obviously, it's because of a deficiency, but in order to get the cramps to release, something like Hotshot or a quick shot of pickle juice, and that the bitterness of the pickle juice hits your soft palate, and sometimes it will help release those cramps. Obviously, you then have to continue to feed your body and get the right nutrients in your body to make sure they don't come back. But initially, to get rid of them, pickle juice and Hotshot, things like that shock your system, forces that nervous system to release, allows those cramps to go away. So anyway, FYI, and I don't know the science behind that. I'm just saying stuff I've read and talked to people about. So Jeremy Black just hashtagged bourbon Oreo hand ups. He was doing those all day Saturday. Jamie Whiteside, how was the bourbon Oreo hand up? I think she liked it. It was a good story. So Jamie Whiteside rides for Fat Tires. She's out of Tulsa. Her dad Tim rides with her. They're together all the time. It's great. I love that. So envious. That daughter and father get to ride together. It's great. It's a great relationship, and love to see that in the family. And so they pull up at Sims, and our buddy Jeremy Black on my team says, "Hey, need a bourbon hand up?" Jamie's like, "Yeah, sure." And her dad Tim's sitting there beside her, and he's looking for his wife in the car, and he's getting his nutrition and stuff, and he just shakes his head and said, "Yep, that's my daughter," as he rolls onto the car. So I posted that on Facebook, but I thought that was a good story. It's funny, and just shows some of the great people and the great families that we have in this mountain biking world, and good stories, good people. Forrest Smith said someone 3D printed the save icon. That's right. Yeah, he's talking about this guy here. So tagging, you bet. We'll hit that. We'll talk about that for sure. So maybe. I guess I'll lead into this. Tagging just posted this, and I'll hit this up, and I saw it on Mountain Bike of the Wichita's. I've not met her, but Amanda Batty. She is a professional downhill mountain biker and just all around female representative for the sport. And it's I don't know. I just did some reading on her last week when I found out she was going to be in Oklahoma City at the Twisted Spike. I'm sorry, weekend before that, 2 weeks ago at the Twisted Spike. And I guess they talked her in to come into Medicine Park to do the race or be there. I don't know. I'm not sure what she's going to do. But anyway, we're stoked to have, someone of her caliber come hang out at Medicine Park, and, I would say show the ladies how to do it, but if she comes in races, she's probably going to show the boys how to do it, honestly. So, it's going to be awesome. great to see her there. And yeah, it's cool. You know, come get your picture and your autograph. Stephen Smith says, good times, good weekend. The last 30 miles was a blast. Chase to the finish was rad. Smitty, that was awesome, brother. It was so fun riding with you. It's good. It's good, man. I just there's a picture at the end where, you know, you and I are just, you know, sitting on our bikes and smiling and laughing, and looks like we just been out for a little fun ride. Who would think that we just been out killing ourselves for 5.5 hours? Stephen Cordes popped in, just said, you know, addition to my Saturday Medicine Park stuff, and that is that free entry, and you could possibly win your lunch. So yeah, so I did talk about all these things that are going on Saturday. There's no entry. You just go do these things. It's all free, and you stand a chance of winning something. So you're gonna go ride your bike anyway. You might as well go out and have some fun with some of these things. So excellent point. All right, so let's move a little further. Man, I'm getting a little low there, so I'm down to Team Wine Box, man. That's all I got. All right, and my dog is driving me crazy. Hey, quit! It's like biting her foot, driving me nuts. So let's talk. I just really want to finish up here. I mean, I'm pretty much done. Unless anybody has anything they want me to talk about, and I'll jump into that. But I just want to finish up talking about Medicine Park and the courses. So this year we are staging differently. I've mentioned that in my previous one, and I think you've seen that on some of the flyers. We are staging in the area of the Kids Cup. I think it's a great idea. I've been talking to Chad and Larry and Steve and Brian and everybody else involved, and Medicine Park's a different animal from every other course that we have, in the fact that no matter how big our race is, no matter how many people we bring there, it's still a tourist town, and there are still going to be tons of people there that need to be downtown. So a big problem that we've always had when we have that race down there is that we block the downtown area off to stage in front of to stage and start finish in front of the actual stage itself. And so we've been discussing moving it out there to the Kids Cup to get away from that, so that they can continue to open up the downtown area to everybody else, and we can be a little bit out of the way. The Cat 1-2s are still going to have to navigate that, and we're still going to have to be going through there at least one time, but I think it's going to be fine. And the Cat 3s, it's going to be golden. They're not going to have to enter there and go through that road and have that mess at all. The only disadvantage for them is they've got to climb Iron Lunger, which I think is great. I mean, I can climb out on my single speed. It's not fun, but I can do it. So you guys can do it. But it's going to be, and then outside of that, it's the same course. So looking forward to it. So anyway, so here's how it's going to stay. So it's going to stage the Kids Cup, which, I mean, if you guys don't know where the Kids Cup is at, then I really can't help you. So you need to get on, you need to get that figured out. But that is actually just across. So like, we're Riverside, we're the stage, we're the plantation, we're base camp, where all that is, you have to cross that wooden bridge to get on the other side of Medicine Creek. Once you get on that other side of Medicine Creek, you can see that little area that's right up by the highway, just a little east of the bridge, and that is where the Kids Cup course is at. And there's a bunch of parking, and there's a big area on both sides of the road there, and we're gonna stage everything there. Start finish is or the finish for sure is going to be there, and some of the starts are going to be there. So for the Cat 3s, the start and finish will be there. The Cat 3s, we're going to start there. There is a little connector that runs up to the highway, goes right to the winery, runs down that road, and then you go backwards on the course, just like all of us have finished in the last several years, where you do the Iron Lunger, you go through the neighborhood, go out to the highway, you're going to go backwards, and you're going to go into that neighborhood, down the highway into that neighborhood, and you're going to climb up Iron Lunger, by Granddaddy Cactus, which is that huge monster cactus that I guarantee you guys all remember if you've done this course. And then they're going to drop you down on a little connector trail that takes you straight down to the other side of the big dam that we normally walk across because there's fishermen. It's a big metal bridge. And then you're going to do your course. And you're going to do your course just like you normally do, like you've always done it. But then when you finish, you're going to drop down an iron lunger and you're going to repeat the same process. It's like a big lollipop with a very little stick at the bottom, but it's not going to matter because there's not going to be any cross traffic because everybody's going to be complete and out on the course by the time the fastest person is finishing. So there will be no cross traffic. And then you jump out on the highway. You stay on the left side of the highway, even though it's against traffic. There's a shoulder. It's no problem. And you climb up to the past the winery, and then right past the winery, there's that little connector that drops you down, and you're going to finish straight down that trail. So word of racer inspection, most likely the first person to that single track past the winery from the road is going to win. There's going to be a short finish after that, and getting to that single track is going to be critical. So if you're in a battle, you need to get to that single track first. It means if you have to tack up the climb on the road, that's where you got to attack. So anyway, that's Cat 3 course. Cat 1-2 course, I want to talk more about it. It is a little different. It's not a little different this year. It's a lot different this year. And again, the first part is the key. The back part is the same. But the first part on the east side is critical. We've had a different course every year, and they're going to have another one this year, and I think it's great. It's hard, but it's different. And I really, really encourage all you guys to come out because it is not your normal course. It is hard because it's climbing. There is some technical stuff, but the sections that they have chosen, there's really, really not any of those just, oh shit, sections where you hit and you're like, I'm just going to get off and walk because this scares me. There's none of those sections. I'm not saying you're not going to go down because, I mean, heck, I go down all the time on easy stuff. So, you know, it's all about just attention and, you know, things like that. But there's just really no sketchy, scary sections. They've tamed it down. They're just taking you on some of the, of course, the milder stuff at Medicine Park is still the hard stuff for other places. But I love this. I love this course. We're utilizing Highlander, which is Upper North Ridge, and is one of my favorite sections at Medicine Park. I love riding that. I love climbing that section up to the Moon Tower, which is the big cell tower. And we're going to go a little bit further than that, past that, but that's one of my favorite climbs. And then we're going to use Upper North Ridge, which is just below that. I'm sorry, Highlander is up above, and you have Upper North. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the normal course that we did 2 years ago with maybe one slight modification, but we're going to have to climb all the way to top of Bear Mountain this year. So we don't get the little cut through that we get and have to get to cut the top of the climb off. We got to climb all the way to top of Bear Mountain from Mary Circle. We're going to cross. Once we hit the bench, we're not going to do black this year. Last year we did black and went up to the chapel and did all that. We're not going to go up that at all. We're going to just go straight across from the bench, across the road, do a little Cactus Alley, which is really that's a nice section to go fast and rest. Then we're going to hit up, go back north a little bit just to do Deer Rub and another little up, and we get double. And we go across a double track and hit a little place called Double Pie Pass, and then we're going to go up Highlander, and we're going to climb. And we're going to climb all the way up to the Moon Tower, and then a little bit past. Basically, we're going to go the double track where you would normally drop into diving board, which we're not doing diving board this year. We're going to turn around right before that and hook back, and we're going to go on Yellow. Yellow is Upper North Ridge, and we're going to do Yellow backwards all the way to just, I don't know, we're going to do it for just a little bit before we drop down to Lower North Ridge. But now that Yellow is tricky. That's the part that if you're going to go pre-ride, you need to really check that out. There's a lot of little lip ups where there's 6-8 inches. You've got to be able to yank your front end up. tough climbs, some quick hitters. But then you drop down to Lower North Ridge and you finish it out to the bridge, and you're good to go. So again, I think this is a great course. It's fully, absolutely 100% rideable. There is not one place that I will get off my bike and I'll be riding the 3220. And there's not a place that I will dab unless I just screw up. So this is fully rideable by all Cat 1s, and I would venture a guess that it's going to be fully rideable by 99% of all the Cat 2s. There's not going to be any places where you're going to get off your bike. Take that back. There's going to be Hamburger Hill way in the back. I'm going to get off because I can't climb that with 3220, but you guys with gears may be able to ride that. So anyway, Golden Course, I think they've made a really good, really good choice this year, because I think it's going to draw a lot of, and I think it's going to draw riders back because they're not, it's not as scary as it was. So, I mean, for you guys that normally think that this is a big, scary course, yeah, there's big, scary stuff out there. We're not racing that big, scary stuff. So bring it. Get your butt out here. Come ride it. Come pre-ride it. Come race it. Let's get it done. Forrest, man, you need to come one off some stuff, man. You need to take some vacation. Forrest Smith, I don't know. Forrest Smith chimes in on these guys. Oh, and I kind of laugh because it's so funny. There's a very small group of a lot of us guys that were there way back in, 15, 16 years ago. And I mean, for me, 18 years ago, I think. Forrest has been doing it longer than me. Forrest has since moved off. He lives in Wisconsin, works at Trek Factory. He was always in my age group. And I think I catted up and actually got to race him like 1 year before he moved off. And so my whole goal in life was to be finished before he was changed. Finally, I think I've gotten to the point where maybe I can race and do Forrest Smith justice. But it's just funny because when we hear names, like Forrest and myself, and even Ray Halls kind of came back, but for a while when Ray first came back, people didn't know who he was, and just a lot of names like that. And I think it's great that there's so many people still involved. I love seeing Forrest chime in here, and he's he was one of my idols growing up as a not so young, 30-ish, a mountain bike rider, and seeing what these guys were doing at Cat 1, and didn't think I would ever be able to do anything like that. And hell, now I kind of am. So I don't know. Thanks for being and doing what you were doing back then, Forrest, and we love you, man. See, I'm just kind of looking through some comments real quick before I move on. I do have one little thing to top off on the Cat 1-2 course. Alan White, I do want to talk about that. You are the Bike Club OKC. You're correct. I haven't checked that website out, but I don't want to click on it or it'll take me off my page. Yeah, Kai Cordes, I think I got that in. Kai chimed in and says it's nowhere near as technical as last year. Not even close. Just a little more climbing, but again, those are things that you can deal with and things that you can prepare for. But just none of the crazy, hard, scary stuff that we've done in the past. And Kai talking trash to Jason. Kevin Wagner made first. Forrest. All right. Let me give that a like, Forrest. All right. So we've talked about the courses, but I do want to talk about the Cat 1-2 course a little bit. So I have talked about the course, but I want to talk about the start. We're still not sure how we're going to do the start. We'll probably make that decision just that weekend when we can get the officials and the promoters and all together and just sit down, over a beer and talk about it. But we are going to stage still at the Kids Cup area across the bridge where everything else is going to finish. Now, we are going to finish the same place as the Cat 3 finish, and that is at the Kids Cup area. You've got that connector that's going to come from the winery, drop down into the Kids Cup area, and right there in that field is going to be the finish. Same as the Cat 3. But now we are probably not going to start there like the Cat 3s are going to start there, because we have to go do the east side. So what we're probably going to do, because we don't want to race through town, we will probably do roll call right there, somewhere in the general vicinity where the Cat 3s did roll call, and then we'll do a controlled rollout all the way through town, probably with a golf cart or some vehicle that will take our official, and we'll drive through town, and we'll go meet at Mary's Circle, which is just in front of base camp. I'm sorry, just in front of bus camp, which is the little shack where we started the F5 endurance race, on that little dirt road just off of the highway. So what we'll probably do is we'll do a neutral rollout to that area. We'll stage at that point, and then we'll let the officials give you the gun, and we'll go from there. That way it's even, and that way we're not racing through town as a big group, and keeps it pretty clean. Now, you will have to go ahead and complete your first lap. You will come through, you'll drop down to the start finish at the Kids Cup, and then you're going to go right back out of town, across the bridge, right up through by base camp, down that road, and you're going to go back up Mary's Circle again for your second lap. And that's okay, because at that point we're all going to be spread out, and there's still going to be traffic, there's still going to be cars, but it's really not going to be that hard to navigate, because we're all going to be in 1s and 2s, maybe 3 or 4 together, but there's not going to be any big packs. So you'll just have to be careful and be alert, and get through there. And then when you finish, you're going to finish, without any trouble. You're not going to be going through there again. So I don't know. So I think that's about it. Let me double check my notes and make sure I haven't missed anything on the comments. And if you guys have anything that you want to add, jump in and do so. And if not, I'm going to close up shop here pretty soon. I do have one thing I want to finish on. So Medicine Park, be there next race. We've got a weekend off, and then we've got a weekend to get there. So let's do that. 2 weekends. Let's kick back up to the dirt. Let's rock and roll. I want to finish with one thing, and I was watching a video, Tegan Malone, OEF, rocking. It's hence the hat, and she popped in earlier and had mentioned that. I wore that for a reason, and that was because I just watched her video, and I've been talking to her, and I've been working with Mike Wozniak out of Tulsa, because as Tour de Dirt director, I would deal with a lot of things, and one of the things is I've been working with Mike, because he's been bringing all these kids to our races, and he's been struggling on trying to figure out what all they need to do. And so I've been kind of helping him, because he's been kind of herding all these kids to our races, and they're doing phenomenal. And anyway, so in talking with him, all this was stemmed from something that started with I don't know exactly whose idea it was and how it got started, but I know that Mike Wozniak in Tulsa is one of the primary guys that were involved with this, and I'm sure there's others, and he can pop in with comments later and talk about that. But it's called Bike Club, and essentially what they have done is they've worked with the Tulsa public schools, and they have been able to get a bunch of curriculum from various entities that have already been created in other states about bikes, and that is proper handling, safety, rules, and then just riding your bikes. And they've even gone as far as sponsors from various sources so that they can provide bikes to some of these kids if they complete this course. The schools have bought in and allow these courses to happen, and it's like usually they get one, couple hours, 1 day a week, and they go in and do their thing, and these kids show up, and now we've got kids riding bikes that haven't been riding bikes, and some of these kids are, through this experience, are now interested in racing, and as not only Tour de Dirt, but the cyclocross as well as the roadside are seeing that, because we've got all these young kids that, I mean, used to, it was a matter of, I mean, we might have 3 kids show up at a line, and I say kids, you know, 12 to 15, you know, handful of kids. And now some of our races for these age groups, we have 2 and 3 rows of kids. We can't even fit them all in the same line. I mean, we've got, you know, 8, 10, 15, you know, or more kids that are this age just in their own category. And it's all, a lot of this is because of this bike club. It's introducing bikes to these kids in the schools. Tegan has been working with Chad Watts, I believe, here in Oklahoma, as well as some other, you know, other people that I'm unaware of. I'm just kind of winging this, honestly. And obviously been working with Mike Wozniak, and they are developing the same bike club that Tulsa has created in Oklahoma City. Pretty much it has to be in a metro area at this point to get our, you know, our grassroots and our hold, and develop a system, and then maybe we'll be able to branch out to rural schools, which is where I'm at, and we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to this, and I think it's great. I mean, anytime you can get a kid on the bike, and you know, they don't have to race, but you know, just being on the bike is such an experience. And I mean, how many times as adults can we be talking with our friends and, you know, reminiscing about, you know, things that you've done when you were a kid? And I mean, there are plenty of little stories that I can tell, and so many of them involved me riding a bike, riding around the neighborhood with my buddies at night, and, you know, taking an adventure out in the country and going to the creek, and we rode bikes and packed our lunches, and, you know, and it was good times. So anyway, it's things that we want these kids to experience. And, you know, and if some of them get super psyched about it, decide they want to race, more power to them, and we'll bring them in the fold and we'll teach them how to race, and we'll be the better for it. So, because the kids are where it's at, you know, and these guys are great, and they want to learn, and we want to teach them. So, all right, let's see. Forrest Missick, you crush me. I don't know about that. Yeah, maybe you work a lot, Forrest. Let's see. Gabe Edmonds is asking about same mileage. I'm assuming that yes, you mean the Medicine Park. Kai chimed in and said yes, 12-ish a lap for Cat 1, 2. The Cat 3s is basically going to be the same. It's just the way that we enter it's going to be slightly differently. Taking Malone, Oklahoma, OK Flyers. So we'll try to post up some links and do some talking about that later on Tour de Dirt page. For sure, when this thing gets going and we start getting some information for the Oklahoma Flyers and Bike Club, we'll start definitely chatting that up and getting that information out there. Steve Palmer, you're welcome. He said, Bike Club rocks. Kids need to be on bikes. Thank you for talking about it. Absolutely. You know, I mean, I'd like to get involved, and, you know, I work with Tegan a lot, and, you know, Tour de Dirt will get involved. I mean, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to get involved. These kids want to race. These kids want to ride bikes. Well, hey, we're all in for however we can do to make it happen. All right. Several of the comments, but I think they're all good, and I think we've covered them. So, Gunnar Wright says Nike is getting kids on bikes. That is correct. And that is something that we're, I say we, not me, but Oklahoma City is looking at, and Tulsa is looking at currently. Nike is a program that they used to use, or still slightly use, in Texas. It's still the main entity that they use in Arkansas, and it is the entity that they use to have high school cycling in schools. So it's like a program. I mean, it's a high school cycling program. You can go to school instead of playing football, basketball, baseball, track, you know, like everybody else does. You know, of course, I mean, I guess in Oklahoma City you have volleyball and swimming and some other things, but I live in rural Oklahoma. Pretty much you can play baseball, you can run track, cross country, you know, go to the gym, shoot some hoops. That's about it. So, but mountain biking is done through these organizations. And so Oklahoma is looking into these. And I think that through Bike Club and Oklahoma City Flyers that this is something that you can see probably in the next 5 years in Oklahoma. So it's not going to be a fast process, but I definitely see this happening, and especially in the metro areas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Yeah, so I mean, more power to it. I mean, I can't imagine what it would have been like for me if I discovered mountain biking in high school instead of playing basketball, which was my thing. I mean, how awesome would that have been to have that available? You know, I mean, I started riding when I was 30. How cool would it have been to be able to do that when you were 15? It'd be awesome. So anyway, thumbs up. Thanks for checking in, and I think I avoided any F-bombs today, so I hope I didn't scare anybody off, and love you guys, and boom. See you at Medicine Park in 2 weeks, and I'll check in next week. I don't know. I might have to come up with what to talk about next week, so I don't know. Anyway, enjoy. Later.